Progressives, this is your trigger warning. Hi, all you thought criminals and enemies of democracy and MAGA extremists. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. From Fox 5, Washington, D.C., 2 buses of migrants, should say illegal immigrants, but we'll let it go, dropped off outside Vice President Harris's residence near Naval Observatory in D.C. Yeah, I guess they didn't like it very much. Bowser, the mayor of D.C., she responds to migrants busing arriving at Vice President Harris's residence. Now, let's see what she has to say. Is this going to be brief? She's asked a question by a reporter.
Has it given you a better understanding of what they are dealing with elsewhere in our country?
Well, I know what we're dealing with, and I'm elected to make sure that D.C. residents have what they need and that our systems can support, our needs. And when we have emergencies, we set up an emergency response. And that.
In other words, I'm going to say I'm a sanctuary city. I'm a progressive Democrat. We should just have open borders and take in everybody. But wait a minute. I don't give a good damn unless it comes to my city. I don't represent anywhere else, so I don't care. Let my policies that affect millions of people negatively happen in other places. You total piece of... That's in essence what it is. Talk about NIMBY, not in my backyard. I won't go on a lot about D.C. because there's a bigger story in New York City, but Fox News reports 2 buses of migrants arrived Thursday outside of Vice President Kamala Harris's residence. That's where the VP stays, is in the Naval Observatory. About 100 migrants from Venezuela arrived just before 7 a.m. I love that. Which real early in the morning, they can just let them off and drive away. The migrants were picked up in Eagle Pass, Texas, and were sent by Governor Greg Abbott. Now, the story goes that these states do not have the legal authority to deport these people. Be honest with you, a lot of these people look in pretty good shape for being in such dire straits. A lot of them had nice cell phones and really expensive sneakers. I don't know where they got it from, but that's another issue for another time, I guess. But they say they can't deport them. They don't have the legal authority. They should try it and see. Cause we'll say a crisis, a legal one. Make the federal government bring your state, whoever state you are, in this case Texas, to court saying you cannot deport them. You don't have the authority. Let them make their case. Let them take their policies and practices that they've been preaching for years and put them out in the open for everyone to see what the real deal is. It's amazing to me. And he's got some pictures there. On Wednesday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis followed through on his promise to drop off illegal migrants in progressive states, sending 2 planefuls to Martha's Vineyard. Now, I've been to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket many times in the early 80s. Very, very high end, especially Nantucket. Martha's Vineyard, good too, but Nantucket is where all the money is. And that's where our former President Barack Obama lives. Right on the beach, by the way, right on oceanfront property. But he's really concerned about global warming and rising tides. But that's another issue for another day. And it just shows some pictures here. You know, it's amazing to me, these people. It's, let's go check out now New York City, who's having a fit. Now he knows how it feels. New York City Mayor Eric Adams claims the Big Apple is near breaking point. I got to do a little scary thing here. They're near the breaking point. Oh, no. After Texas bussed 11,000 migrants to Sanctuary City, while El Paso has thousands of immigrants sleeping on the streets. As a young boy, it was probably early 60s, I stayed in New Mexico in Alamogordo. My uncle's in-laws lived there. My uncle's father-in-law was a mathematician who worked on the atomic tests at White Sands Missile Base. It's a pretty cool place. And one day we decided to go into Mexico through El Paso, which is the borders Juarez. And in the early 60s, I thought that was a crap hole back then. My understanding, it's 100 times worse now. But let's go on. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said the city was approaching its breaking point. 8-odd million people, I believe, in the New York metro area. I live in upstate New York, and 11,000 people are near your breaking point. To me, he expressed frustration. Adams said, "I'll scroll through this article." As a result, the city's prior practices, which never contemplated the busing of thousands of people in New York City, must be reassessed. Oh, our policy has to be reassessed because we've been effing over everybody along the border states and border towns. When you have 10,000 times the resources of a lot of these small cities along the border that have been dealing with this for literally decades, but especially overwhelming the last 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden now you have to reassess, just like the mayor in D.C. Not in bad backyard, NIMBY. My policies and practices, because I'm virtuous, I'm a better person than the Republicans and the conservatives are, especially those EGA, MAGA, ultra conservatives. They're the worst. I'm virtuous. You're evil. Oh, wait a minute. You mean my policies and practices are going to come back and bite me in the ass? Can't have that. Oh, no. We'll just scroll through some pictures here. I'm not going to read it all. They don't have 8 million people in the metro area. And now this is here in El Paso. And look at this. Look at this. How would you like to have a business right across the street? Here's the thing. I'm not heartless. My heart isn't made out of stone. I do feel badly for these people. I honestly and truly do. But economic hardship in the country you're coming from is not a requirement for sanctuary. It just simply isn't. It sucks where I'm at, so I'm going to come to the U.S. where I can get a bunch of free stuff. No, that is not on the list of reasons to receive sanctuary. But these clowns, their policies have come back to bite them in the ass. I mean, look at this. Here's another one. Here's some migrants as well in the middle of the street. It's insane. Absolutely insane. This administration on its own has safety and efficiency, provided shelter, healthcare, education with a host of other services as well. It's incredible. This is a remarkable achievement that has required and will continue to require the efforts of our entire team, and has been a reality that no city official, advocate, or court ever could have contemplated. You got 11,000 in multi-million populated city. You can't handle that, but you expect the little towns along the way to do it. New York City admits more right to shelter violations. They have an ordinance. People have a right to shelter. So they've been caught in violation of their own crap. Look at some of these numbers. Almost 5 million authorized border crossings under Biden's administration. 11 million estimated population of authorized immigrants. That's insane. That's insane. That's 250,000 people for every single state. And these smaller states are just overwhelmed, or smaller municipalities. I was in Tennessee 3 times in the last year and a half. I live in upstate New York. And wherever I went, in restaurants, gas stations, just stopping along the way on my trip, hotels, you could tell the construction crews, all in the vans, all getting gas, all speaking Spanish. There's nothing wrong with speaking Spanish, but you could tell they were not citizens. Just the way they were hiding in the shadows and being transported around, probably from construction site to construction site. So why don't we go after, number one, the people that are hiring them unlawfully And number two, stop them from crossing the border. My understanding of God, it was horrible. A little girl was face down in, I believe, in the Rio Grande River. Unfortunately, she was gone. And it shows a border agent trying to revive her. And of course, what does the media say? Young girl dies under Border Protection Agency custody. He frantically tried to save her life. It's amazing to me. Even Barack Obama said once, do not come here. Look at this. Almost 200,000 encounters just in the month of July of this year. 66 people on the FBI terror watch list caught at the border. 6.5 tons of meth and 1 ton of fentanyl seized at the border. That's just what's seized. I doubt, frankly, if it's 10% of what's really coming in. Unauthorized immigrants, 73% have jobs, earn about 40% less per hour than U.S. born. 50 to 75% pay taxes. Big deal. Unbelievable. It's incredible. City shields criminal immigrants from prosecution, including a man who tried to rob a family of 18 at gunpoint. ICE requests for alleged spies and killers to be handed over are denied. And I'll scroll through the article if you want to read it. There's another photo there in El Paso. It's out of control, and they don't give a damn. Not in my backyard. We're virtuous. We are human beings. Where these Republican MAGA people are heartless monsters that want to see children die. It's absolute, total, 100% bull. It's amazing. We have vets killing themselves. I believe it's 20 to 22 a day. We have over 300 people a day overdosing on fentanyl and other drugs. A day. Over 300 a day. Over 20 of our veterans committing suicide a day. Where's our help for them? But we have all these billions of dollars. We have more of an idea of the border of Ukraine and upholding its autonomy than we do our own country. Think about that for a minute when November comes and you vote. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.